Today, the Vatican releasing new details about the funeral arrangements for Pope Francis, who passed away yesterday. A funeral mass for the 88-year-old pontiff will take place Saturday in St. Peter's Square.
The pontiff had requested to be buried at his favorite church in Rome, St. Mary Major Basilica, instead of the Vatican. Tomorrow, Pope Francis's body will be moved in a procession from the private chapel of his Santa Marta residence to St. Peter's Basilica, where he will lie in state in an open casket until Saturday's funeral and burial. Afterward, cardinals from around the world will gather for the secret election process, also known as the conclave, to select a new pope.
And Houstonians are sharing their memories of Pope Francis
and the powerful connection they felt to the late pontiff.
Ron Trevino joins us in the newsroom with these stories. Ronnie.
Len and Mia, I spoke with a couple of people from the Houston area, including someone who is in Rome right now. But we start with someone who was in Rome when Pope Francis was elected. I was there too, covering the story for us. The streets of Rome, 2013. Pope Francis has just been elected in the conclave, and I run into a family from Sugar Land there for that moment in history, Jim and Susie Murray. I interviewed Jim then and now, 12 years later.
You know, it wasn't too long ago, it seems like, that Pope Francis came into office. So he's been a big part of our lives for the last decade or so.
What was it like to be in Rome when Pope Francis was elected?
Wow. Italy is a place that comes alive when there's a new pope, the white smoke and all of that stuff. So it's just a fun place to be. That was a special experience.
One that will be replicated in a few weeks. The Murrays from Sugar Land will never forget the last one.
As a matter of fact, I may have to plan another visit for the next conclave because that was a really interesting time.
Meanwhile, another person from the Houston area we reached out to is still in Rome, capturing video and posting it on Instagram, seeing the Pope in his final public appearance in Vatican Square on Easter Sunday. Manuel Lopez says it's been a spiritual journey.
I think it's something that I'm always going to remember, for sure.
How did Pope Francis look on Easter Sunday?
He couldn't do the whole reading. He kind of started and then he kind of just paused, and so he mainly just focused on the blessing at the end.
Lopez says he feels the whole Easter experience with Francis was a blessing, and he calls him an amazing pope.
Especially for me, you know, being a gay man and just being accepted for everything, and he explaining to the community about LGBTQ being opened up and accepting as a family.
And now he mourns a pope who he says had a huge impact on his life and helped him reconnect with his own family. Now Lopez is hoping he can be there for the funeral of Pope Francis, as we said, on Saturday. Len and Mia.
Very special for him.
Yes, and what a story hearing from those people who were there years ago. Thank you, Ron. Be sure to keep us posted. And right now on KHU.com, you can read more about Pope Francis, his legacy, and what comes next.